Today is Tuesday, August 4, 2026, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker called out two fellow senators for giving away their votes for nothing before today's Senate Judiciary Committee over Donald Trump's personal attorney becoming the next Attorney General, Todd Blanche. Tarrant County, Texas. Y'all, they are mad. A black woman is running for county judge against a white Republican county judge. So what did they do? They slashed the number of polling locations almost in half. We'll show you some of what happened. I keep telling y'all they are coming after black people. Speaking of Texas, a new poll shows Texas voters prefer James Talarico in a huge way. We'll give you those numbers. In Colorado, a cop is facing murder charges for killing a black man during a 2025 traffic stop. The twice-impeached, criminally convicted con man-in-chief, Donald Trump, has a lot to say about blue states, saying they're nasty and despicable. We'll show you how California responded. The Trump administration literally is forcing Haitian immigrants in Ohio to wear ankle monitors. Yeah, seriously. Also, black family, swimming, white woman, racist white woman, decides that she has the right to question them and demand their ID. Wait until we show you the video. In tonight's ShopBlackStarNetwork.com segment, jewelry with an African flair. Y'all, it's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the fine. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, rolling with Roland now. He's funky, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Donald Trump wants his personal attorney, Todd Blanche, to be the permanent attorney general. Two Republican senators punked out in allowing that to go forward. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker was not happy at all, and he let them have it in today's hearing.
Senator Booker.
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked. I think I've been here 14 years. I have not seen something as farcical as what I've witnessed over the last few weeks. We have a nominee that it seemed like some of my colleagues in a noble way were saying is unqualified unless he gives some kind of guarantee that what we now know on both sides of the aisle, Americans think is absolutely outrageous. A slush fund had been created for the president to dole out to people who've done the most awful things, literally people that stormed the Capitol and beat police officers in this building would not get taxpayer dollars as some kind of reward. Universal disagreement on that, and the fact that a president of the United States is not above the law and shouldn't be able to cheat on their taxes. And so I've sat back for days now looking forward to us, at least of all the things that Todd Blanche has done that is disqualifying for this job, I thought at least we were going to be able to get an end to that nightmare. And here's the thing, Mr. Chairman. Here's the thing, Mr. Chairman. You even have conservatives coming out and saying these things are not worth the paper they're drawn on. I have a lot of respect for my colleagues, love the state of Texas, but I'm going to say it very clear. This is all hat and no cattle. It's hard for me to say this as a plant-based guy, but where's the beef? Where's the beef? This is ridiculous. We got nothing, no guarantees whatsoever that this slush fund still can't go forward. We got nothing that the president of the United States can't cheat on his taxes and have no accountability. Dear God, folks, it's not like we're talking about a president who is a saint. No president in the history of this country has been caught in tax cheating more than this one. A Pulitzer Prize winning documentation of his tax cheating came out in 2018. Pulitzer Prize. Donald Trump said, I'm going to sue you, it's all wrong. That suit was thrown out because the president is a tax cheat. But it didn't stop with that. He was a tax cheat with his nonprofit as well. He created a so-called charity, but what did he do with that charity? It was cited by the state of New York for self-dealing, for tax cheating, and was shut down. We have a known arsonist, and we have just in this committee given him a whole barrel full of gasoline to light on fire our tax laws and have no accountability for the conflagration. This is so ridiculous that we are sitting back here and allowing this to happen. A president that we know is a tax cheat. That is a fact. That is a fact. We have now just given him an immunity to his tax cheating. Now, here's an admission I'm going to make to my colleagues on the other side. We've had presidents that have done things that, to me, do not pass the smell test and do not pass the appearance of impropriety. I think this committee should pass a law that no children of presidents should be able to grift off their parents' office. To me, it is ridiculous the corruption that we have normalized in America, that presidents' children can go out and sit on boards and make money. That is wrong and that is corrupting. But they have become so obsessed with the millions that the Bidens have made that they have ignored completely the billions of dollars that the Trump family is making. That is like being obsessed and using a magnifying glass to study the stain on the living room carpet when behind you is a mountain of excrement covering the living room couch and coffee table. This is so outrageous, the lack of proportionality going on of my colleagues, it is laughable. This is absolutely insane that we have a president of the United States that has now made $2 billion doing what? Wow, he's such a shrewd businessman. Let me create my own crypto coin and have foreign nations invest in it. Oh, and by the way, if you are a corporation in America, put my children on the board and they'll get no bid contracts. This is the Judiciary Committee. We're supposed to be checking and balancing this nation. Why have people on both sides of the aisle given up on any trust in government? It's because we're surrendering any shred of integrity left. And now we're letting an attorney general become the highest law enforcement officer in the land and putting no holds whatsoever. I had hope for 2 weeks that we would get something. 2 weeks that we would have something substantive to stop the world's greatest presidential tax cheat from cheating. And we've done nothing. And this man is going to now sail to the floor, and history is going to show it. I know what's going to come out in history on this president, and I know what's going to come out on Todd Blanche. And the simplest way that should outrage any shred of decency my colleagues have, because this isn't left or right, this isn't presidential enrichment, this is the deepest, most sacred urgency of this committee, and I know colleagues on both sides care about it. Victims of crime should have justice. And here in the United States of America, one of the greatest sex trafficking rings we've ever seen, when only 2 people, over 1,000 women, sexually assaulted and raped, only 2 people have been held accountable. There are other criminals out there that haven't been found. And what did the man that we're talking about becoming the Attorney General of the United States, what did he do? Well, he joined in the Situation Room in the White House. Y'all know what the Situation Room is, right? This is where we go to deal with the greatest national security threats in a classified room to deal with the safety of our nation. And yet this administration in the Situation Room calls an emergency meeting at which Todd Blanche was there to say, what are we going to do? Because the president appears in the Epstein files hundreds of times. They didn't get together to say, this is really bad. This is eroding trust in the justice system. This is eroding trust in the rule of law. We have to find a way to hold powerful people accountable. No, they came together with Todd Blanche in the room. How do we protect the president? And what happened after that? One of the most unusual things in the history of our country happened after that. Todd Blanche, at the highest heights of our Justice Department, ran to the prison of Ghislaine Maxwell. This is unprecedented. This is, lawyers tell me, untoward. This is corrupting. He didn't study the case files. He didn't talk to the prosecutors. No, he ran to the jail cell and met with her for 2 days, insulting every single Epstein victim that had been asking for a meeting for years. And after 2 days of meetings, did we get information that led to an indictment? No. Did we get information that led to new opens of investigations? No. Did we get one more conviction? No. What did we get? That a convicted sex offender was able to leave her confinement and go to the cushiest prison in our land, that by Bureau of Prison Law, by DOJ law, is a violation of their principles. So Ghislaine Maxwell is sitting in the lowest possible confinement after giving no information that helped us get one more investigation started, and has been silent. And the man responsible for that, we are about to make the Attorney General of the United States of America. This man is not our lawyer. He is not America's lawyer. He is about to become Trump's sword against his adversaries and shield against any scrutiny. The shield is going to shield him from tax cheating. The shield is going to shield him from investigation for any involvement he may have had in Epstein's deeds. And the sword, I've seen it. Unprecedented that the Attorney General should investigate colleagues here on this committee. This is farcical. It would be literally laughably funny if it wasn't so dangerous. We are about to put a person in one of the most powerful positions in the land, vital for not only enforcing the law, protecting national security, but also vital for upholding our democracy. And my Republican colleagues sound like Jan Brady, Marsha, 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 Biden, Biden, Biden. You are worried about a pickpocket when it comes to grand theft larceny. When it comes to our democracy, you're worried about someone who is doing petty theft while there is the murder of our democratic traditions going on before our eyes. We are in dangerous waters, folks. We are in dangerous waters. We are turning the ideals of justice and this committee into a mockery by letting the least qualified person, a person proven to do Donald Trump's will, over the law. He is about Trump and not truth. He is about corruption and not the Constitution. He's about being Donald Trump's lawyer and not the people's lawyer. This is so deeply wrong. We will rue the day that we let this man have this much power under such a corrupt president. Thank you.
All right, so if y'all want to see no profiles in courage, all you got to do is look at, so there were 2 Republican senators, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, who opted not to run for re-election because Donald Trump was going to oppose him and he was scared he was going to lose. Then there is John Cornyn of Texas, supposedly a strong bedrock Republican, former Supreme Court Justice in Texas. John Cornyn, had those 2, had Cornyn and Tillis voted no, that would have ended Todd Blanche. It would not have gone to the floor. Donald Trump has trashed both of them. He has treated both of them like they were children. He has pimped both of them. And they had an opportunity to actually stand up for their constituents. I'm a voter in Texas, so Cornyn. They had opportunity to say, no, we're not going to let the man, as Cory Booker just said, who met with Ghislaine Maxwell and she went to a cushy prison. We're not going to let that man who negotiated a slush fund for Trump, we're not going to let that man who signed a sweetheart deal with the IRS be the nation's top law enforcement officer. No. The two of them, they caved. And if you want to hear sheer stupidity, just listen to Tom Tillis and what he had to say. And you already know what you're about to hear. Well, what about Obama? What about Biden? Listen.
If you want to talk about weaponization, take a look at the Biden administration. Take a look at the Obama administration. Take a look at Crossfire Hurricane. Take a look at the codes that Lois Lerner used in the IRS to target businesses to try and unbank them. Take a look at the prospective pardons on the way out the door that President Biden did for family members, for staff members in Congress. The bottom line is nobody is clean here. And until we start recognizing this behavior as bad, we're just going to one-up it. Maybe it's a little bit more intense in this administration than the last one, and that a little bit more intense than the prior administration, and so on and so forth. But folks, we've got to end this stuff. We do. I'm going to support Mr. Blanche's nomination, but what I hope I see out of him is a bending of the curve of this absurdity. The 86-47, some bonehead in North Carolina thinks that that's a crime. Well, they better damn sure have information to back it up, because if all it is a picture, that person should lose his job, his or her job. Similarly, the people who went after Republicans in the Biden administration should probably be disbarred or disciplined. So at the end of the day, don't act like you're standing on some sort of moral high ground if you start attacking this administration, because I can match you almost deed for deed. What I would like to see here is maybe people saying, look at it, instead of criticizing people on the other side of the aisle, why don't you go back and hold your own caucus and your conference to a higher standard? That's what I'm doing. That's what Senator Cornyn's doing, and that's what I think the American people want more of. And Mr. Chair, thank you for your patience. I know from time to time, I don't like delaying markups, but I thought that this was a very important one because we got to a good outcome. And I appreciate Mr. Blanche working in good faith, and I am prepared to vote yes today in his confirmation, or in moving his.
Oh, so we need to end this, but I'm going to go ahead and vote for the crooked-ass Trump attorney. Okay, I got you, Tom Tillis. If you also want to see pure weakness, all you got to do is listen to this here. Y'all, I want you to understand, this is a sitting United States senator. You would think he's read the Constitution. You would think he understands that the House and the Senate have oversight of the executive and the judicial branch. But no, not John Cornyn. He is still kissing Donald Trump's ass. Listen.
Was saying as recently as yesterday that he likes the idea of this fund, that he wants to find some way to pay these people. Does that concern you as someone who's tried to fight against getting this anti-weaponization fund in place?
Well, there's nothing we could do to rein in the president when he said he likes the fund and he wishes it still exists, but the fact of the matter, it's dead. And that's all we could do under these circumstances. See you all.
Thank you.
Okay. He just said there's nothing we can do to rein in the president. You could have said, we're not going to give you your attorney general. I'm going to tell y'all again. And maybe you didn't believe me the previous 1,276 times I said this. The Republican Party does not care about what's right. They care about power. And these people are not going to say no to Donald Trump. They are scared of him. And so all of y'all who are sitting here saying, I don't know if I'm not going to vote, I'm telling you what's going on here. If you do not go to the polls in November in massive numbers and defeat every MAGA candidate, you're going to see more of this in the next 2 years. And you thought the first 2 years were nuts. You ain't seen nothing yet. My panel, Dr. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice at the EPA. Joining us from D.C., Joe Richardson, civil rights attorney from L.A., Brian Shapiro, host of Pushing the Limits out of L.A. as well. Let me go to you, Mustafa. Again, Senator John Kennedy didn't have the guts to say, I'm not supporting Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be at HHS. Cornyn, Tillis, for all of their big talk, why, they could have said, no, I ain't letting this man go forward. Because we all know this here. Donald Trump is going to get his slush fund, whether Tillis and Cornyn likes it or not.
Yeah, and we should actually give it the proper name. It's reparations, for the privileged and reparations for insurrectionists. So I think we need to just make sure we put it in the proper context. I was not surprised with the outcome today, to be quite honest with you. Those words, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do, kept running through my mind. I was waiting for the shoe to drop because these individuals continue to do this. They're not interested in actually governing. Because if they were, they would do what's right for the American people. And this is not the right thing to do. This individual doesn't have the merit, let me say that again, doesn't have the merit to actually hold the position, doesn't have the integrity that's necessary for the position, has no interest in being the lawyer for the American people. And that's just the reality because we see the decisions that have been made. They were rolled out there as you shared them, and they've been shown also in relationship to what Senator Booker went through. But, I hope more people actually start to read. Octavia Butler actually put a book out in 1998. It was called The Parable of the Talents. If you read that book, it is almost like everything we see playing out. She had some type of prophetic gift to be able to understand what this type of a leader would actually do. So we see them continue to make these choices. Trump feels that he can do anything, and he can in a sense because no one is pushing back. And that's why when you told folks to engage in the civic process, to make sure that you're voting, that is really the last sort of leverage or tool that you have to make sure that no longer will people continue to extract everything from our communities and continue to take that extraction and then to fill their own pockets. So you have a choice. You can either get engaged or you continue to get pimped.
It's simple as that. Brian, I said this here, Republican Party, no morals, no values, no principles, no ethics, no integrity, no credibility. They don't care. They want power, and they're going to do that. They don't want to tell this man no because Donald Trump, he is their Trojan horse. They get whatever they want. They know, hey, if you're corporate America, not a problem, Donald. How much money do you want? The Wall Street Journal had a massive story, y'all, that showed how this man is pimping companies. He misses them. He goes, hey, I need $25 million. Oh, you want your thing passed? Yeah, give me some money. He's doing that because the Supreme Court said whatever he does in the office of president, it's essentially legal. And so he's sitting here doing whatever he wants. These people do not care. And I'm telling Brian, people need to understand, I need these white progressives. Let me just be as frank as possible. I know some of y'all. I saw this sister when I was in where was I? Detroit. And no, I was in South Carolina with Congressman Jim Clyburn. And she says, "Lord, I pray for you when you start cussing." Seriously, Brian, I'm gonna go ahead and cuss. So y'all go ahead and turn your TV down. It ain't gonna last longer than 5 seconds. But I need some of these white progressives to shut the fuck up. To literally shut the fuck up and stop this. Somehow, perfect candidate shit, and to realize that we are in a war, and these people do not care about the law at all, and they will put a corrupt Todd Blanche as the top law enforcement, and Todd Blanche, it will do whatever Donald Trump tells him to do.
I've been preaching this for a very long time now. Todd Blanche is still Donald Trump's personal attorney. We could talk about Maxwell. We could talk about the levels of corruption. Donald Trump making upwards of almost $2 billion in the last year, more than he's made combined in his entire life. It's unbelievable. And let's just call it for what it is. These right-wing Republican cowards, even the guy like Tom Tillis, who you would think has nothing to lose, right? He's on his way out the door anyway. But he still votes Blanche in because he's a coward. It doesn't even matter whether they remain in power or not. And when he said tit for tat, can you please name me a Democrat that has ever been in office in our lifetime to the levels of corruption with Donald Trump? Can you please name me a Democrat that wanted to make people millionaires for beating police officers like what happened on January 6th? Can you name me any Democrat that has ever been in office that rises to anywhere near the levels of corruption with this orange man that is in office right now? Todd Blanche is still Donald Trump's attorney. Oh, yeah, he was also found on tape that was leaked that he wants to ban abortion nationwide. Their reckless policies are ruining this country. Todd Blanche is willing to break the law to do and say whatever Donald Trump wants him to do. These are very dangerous times that we are living in. You know, Senator Booker's a good man. I ran into him in D.C. at an airport a few weeks ago. I thought he did a wonderful job. Unfortunately, it's not enough. I don't know what else Democrats can do. You have these powerful Republicans in D.C. that will vote this man in. The levels of corruption are through the roof. And I'm worried because I don't know what Democrats can do here. When you consistently have these Republicans that are, as you pointed out eloquently, they're afraid of Donald Trump. They're afraid to say no. And then you have these Republicans in office that are asked on Capitol Hill today, and they say, there's nothing we can do. Well, as you pointed out, of course there's something you can do. Don't vote him in. For once, stand up and do what's right for the American people. Don't vote Todd Blanche in. But they can't do it because they're afraid of an orange man. And it's so frustrating. It's so disappointing that how these people get elected into office to begin with. But for Tom Tillis, forgive me, the bullshit that he spewed today, oh, I can go tit for tat. Really? Go ahead. Try me. Democrats aren't perfect, but name me one Democrat that has ever even come close to the levels of corruption of this administration and Donald Trump and Todd Blanche. I repeat once again, Todd Blanche will not be the Attorney General and the Attorney for America. He is the personal attorney to Donald J. Trump.
Joe, he goes, oh, look at all the weaponization of Obama and Clinton, Obama and Biden. But he couldn't give any specifics. See, that's the game they play. Bottom line is they make excuses. And I'm telling you right now, y'all, you can go ahead and just write it down. Write it down right now. Write it down. There's going to be a slush fund. Donald Trump is going to make sure that his thugs get paid federal taxpayer money.
Obama's been out of office for 10 years, man. You know, why are we still talking about what Obama did or didn't do? Like there's really a comparison between corruption and non-corruption. In the America I live in, still, black man can't go and be corrupt. He can't act like, he can't fool everybody into thinking that he's a citizen when he's not. You know, not that we really need to be revisiting Obama, but of course, when we watch the opening of the presidential library, we felt something that was very, very real, and we know why we miss him. What's bad is that society has gotten punch drunk with so much corruption, with so much dishonesty, with so much flouting and twisting and breaking and ignoring of the rule of law that it's just like it's all the same now. Like it's like everything is everything. We not talking about the Epstein files. That's what I like about what Cory Booker was saying. He's kind of reminded us about the stuff that we seem to not be saying a whole lot about. There's still accountability to be had there that hasn't even happened. And then, of course, yes, there's going to continue to be a slush fund. He's going to do the best he can to reward his people the best way he possibly can. But even if that slush fund was gone, they can't even investigate or audit him or his sons. So that means that they can rob the country blind, and that's little people's money. That's not Elon Musk's money.
Yep.
That's regular folk money. Okay? So it's a problem all the way around. It continues to be, and it's amazing that Tillis and Cornyn, who are on their way out of office and would have, if they had any ego or pride, some gripes here, well, they could really stick it to Trump. It's funny to me that they didn't do it. So, I mean, it just lets you know what happens when people don't stand up. And so hopefully somebody gets a chance to stand up before too long and they really take advantage of it.
No, they're not. They're not. Let me be real clear. The only way you stand up is people at the polls stand up. That's the only way you stand up. I'm telling you right now, the only way you stand up is by going to the polls and vote all these people out. And all of y'all people, I saw one of y'all in the chat talk about, here's Roland shilling for Democrats. No, you idiot. I'm not shilling for Democrats. I'm actually shilling for people, for taxpayers. You got Donald Trump's kids, Don Jr. and Eric Trump, taking equity stakes in numerous companies, where the federal government gave one of Don Jr.'s companies a $600 million loan from the Pentagon Department. They're sitting here investing in drone companies, and all of a sudden, Donald Trump is talking about drones. They're investing in all kind of stuff. All of a sudden, he's discussing that. Donald Trump is trading stocks left and right. They are raping and pillaging the country. And some of y'all are sitting there going, oh my God, you're shilling for Democrats. Let me explain something to y'all, okay? All you simple Simons who clearly don't understand how politics goes. Do you understand that if Democrats get control of the Senate and or the House, they control the hearings. They control the investigations. They have subpoena power. Right now, Comer and Jordan and the folks in the Senate, they're like, yep, we're not going to have those hearings. That means that if Democrats control the House and the Senate, they get to call every administration official down to Capitol Hill. They can do it every single week saying, y'all are going to answer to all of this. RFK Jr., what happened to the people who were supposed to be inspecting our lettuce to ensure you don't get explosive diarrhea? Have any of y'all seen those hearings? No, you haven't. Now you get to have the hearing saying, I'm sorry, can y'all explain to me, Pete Hegseth, why you keep refusing to promote black people and women in the military, thus ending their careers? That's what happens when you have the power, okay? But you dumbasses who keep going with, oh my God, you're shilling for the Democrats, don't seem to understand if the MAGA controls the House and MAGA controls the Senate and MAGA controls the White House, there's not going to be any checks and balances because the right is scared to death of Donald Trump. Now do you understand what the hell is going on? The raping and pillaging is happening before our very eyes. Black people, there's a bullseye on every black woman, black man, black child when it comes to their policies. It's no lie. So you need to understand what's going on here. And I'm telling you, they're not going to stop. They're not. They want to, what? The report was they've already instituted 58%, or was it 63% of Project 2025. They want to do 100%. But some of y'all simple sounds, you're shilling for the Democrats. Okay, for any of y'all who say that, please show me exactly. I would just love to see how Republicans are advancing an agenda that's actually helping black people. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Gas prices up. Beef is up. Let's say they're wiping people off when it comes to Plan D, Medicare. We can just go down the line and see all the stuff that's going on. We're going to be chatting in a moment with Tarrant County Commissioner Lisa Simmons. Why? Because they're damn near slashing in half voting locations in Tarrant County. You know why? Because they don't want black folks there voting. They don't want white progressives voting because they've been losing elections. But you want to say, I'm shilling. Okay, we shall shill on. Going to a break here, watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. All right, folks, let me get personal for a second. My mom had questions about her Medicare, so she called Chapter, a Medicare advisory company, and she texted me right after saying it's a great benefit. It was easy. A real person walked her through the whole thing, and now she understands better what's going on. But it's not just her. A woman in Yonkers wrote in saying the process was so simple, the enrollment was easy, and she was so glad she called. Then there's Marilyn, 90 years old, in Florida, living on Social Security. Her premium climbed every single year north of $400 a month for coverage she could barely afford anymore. So what does she do? She called Chapter. if they found her the same top-tier coverage for hundreds of dollars less. 90 years old, and finally somebody in her corner. I hear stories like that again and again from our community. The Medicare system was not built to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans. Yet Chapter's advisors are independent and honest, the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. They're focused on one thing, what actually works for you. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. No games, and people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. All it takes is 20 minutes. You talk to a real person, and it's completely free help. So call Chapter at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281. That's Chapter.
Let me ask you a question. Why do so many people seem to think they know black men so well? What they think we want, what they think we need. Hell, they even tried to tell us why and how we voted, but never had a conversation with us. Never asked us how we felt, what brings us joy, what makes us angry, what makes us scared. How do we live? That's what this show is about. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. This will be a show where we bring brothers on that you don't see on every other talk show. Nope. Brothers that are doing work in local communities with black men for black communities. We're going to hear each other and try to understand so perhaps we can move forward together. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. Nope. What we need is each other. No translation, right here on the Black Star Network. Check it out.
This is Tamala Mann.
And this is David Mann. And you're watching Roland Martin
Unfiltered.
Colorado grand jury indicted a police officer for killing a black man during the 2025 traffic stop. Arapahoe County grand jury charged Aurora police officer Matthew Neely with second-degree murder and reckless manslaughter for fatally shooting Rajon Belt Stubblefield in the chest and head. Here's what Amy Patton, the DA of the 18th Judicial District, had to say about the indictment.
This indictment follows a thorough, months-long investigation conducted by the 18th Judicial District Critical Incident Response Team, sometimes referred to as CIRT. CIRT is a multidisciplinary team responsible for independently investigating officer-involved shootings and other critical use of force incidents that occur within Arapahoe County. After completing its investigation, the team presented the evidence to my office. Following a comprehensive review of the evidence and after consulting with experts in police use of force tactics and operations, I presented the case to the grand jury, which ultimately returned this indictment. An arrest warrant was issued on Friday afternoon. Mr. Neely surrendered over the weekend and has since posted bond, which the court had set in the amount of $200,000 cash or surety. The indictment is now unsealed, and the next court appearance is scheduled for August 17th.
Folks, this here is the video. Let's just pull the audio up so we can hear what happened.
Stay in the car. Don't move. Don't move. Motor 45. I've got a crash. 6th, just east of 225. Get a couple cars here now. Stay in the. Give me your hands. Show me your hands. Get your hands up, dude. Don't show me. Get your hands up right now. Get your hands up. Yeah. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get away from that motherfucking gun. Get on the ground now.
Get that nigga.
Get on the ground now.
Get that shit. Get that shit. Get that shit.
I'll shoot you.
Get that shit. Get that shit.
Chill. No.
Get that shit.
No, Dad, chill.
Get that shit.
Officer, chill. Dad.
Get that shit.
Get on the ground.
Get that shit.
Get on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Chill.
So, you ready for this? You ready for this?
Get on the ground.
You ready for this? You ready for this, huh? You ready for this, huh?
Get on the ground.
You ready for this?
Shut Shots fired. 245 shots fired. Give me some cars. Cruiser. Ambulance hot. No. It's not a tourniquet kind of thing. Thank you. Stay there. Hey, hey! Get over there behind us. There's a gun over there. Behind the boxes. Shut it all down. Sable, westbound, highway, eastbound. What?
They just shot my dad. He didn't have no gun.
Did you find that gun?
He threw the gun. I got you right here, bro.
You got it? Okay.
Oh my God, bro. Thank you. Yeah. They just shot my dad.
Joe, I'm glad to see this grand jury had the common sense. Again, this took place on August 30th, 2025, when Neely attempted to conduct a traffic stop and pull over Rajon. And you see that body cam video there. And so the question then becomes, was that justified? Hell no. Civil rights attorney Milo Schwab represents Rajon's family. Here's what he had to say after the announcement of the indictment.
It's been nearly a year since Rajon was killed, but it's not just about Rajon, it's about this long list of police officers that have killed members of our community year after year after year. This has been a long time coming. But it's fitting too. Friday was, or would have been, Rajon's birthday. This past Friday. But today is an incredible day. Today is a day of accountability and fairness and justice. For too long, district attorneys decide these questions of whether police commit crimes on their own. And all too often, they decide no. Amy Padden had the courage to ask the community, to ask and to convene a grand jury. And this is what happens when the community is asked. Because the community will fairly and justly and equally apply our laws both to members of the community and the police. And they will make sure that police officers, when they commit crimes, are treated just as any other member of the community would be. And I hope that this is a model. I hope this is a model for the future for other district attorneys across this state when they see and are confronted with officer-involved killings, that they will bring the community in and decide, or to bring the community in to make sure and to make that decision for them.
Joe, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good news that comes out of this a couple of different ways. It looks like the DA had the investigation go to, and I don't know if it's another agency that's connected or disconnected, but there's been this larger discussion for a long time about agencies other than the arresting agency or the shooting agency or the DA actually investigate whether or not charges ought to be brought, or doing an investigation and then turn it around, giving it to a grand jury who decides based on the information. This is about as objective as you can be in terms of figuring out whether something ought to happen, whether this ought to go to the next place in terms of doing an investigation and then eventually doing a trial. So this man is still innocent until proven guilty. But that being said, clearly this is a situation where he didn't have to shoot this brother. He didn't have to shoot this brother at all. And at the end of the day, you have this happening so often where police will do maybe what they believe they can and what they believe they can get away with, even if they don't have to do it. Protecting and serving includes protecting and serving people that don't necessarily agree with you, that don't like you, and whose situations force you to make good decisions. Okay? Now, I can have a separate discussion with this kid's family or with this kid, if the kid has survived, about do this or do that or whatever else. But the law is still the law. The police deal with people that are imperfect and that may not be crazy about them. They still got to make good decisions. And the idea that the people here decided that this should go to trial is frankly what gives it the credibility. The people actually decided. And hopefully this is something that, an example that can be emulated. Put this in the hands of the people. Put this in the hands of investigating agencies who don't have to, most of the time, get along with cops, don't have to rely on them to successfully prosecute people. And then maybe you have a better chance of the truth actually coming out. And this is what we have here.
You know what's crazy? You got somebody in the chat, Brian, saying, well, why didn't Demons pass the George Floyd Justice Act? They did. They passed it in the House. Mm-hmm. They passed it in the House. It couldn't get through the Senate. But the bottom line is the George Floyd Justice Act still would have not prevented this here. This is what happens when you have trigger-happy cops.
Yeah. So here's what I think the police officer should have done. And by the way, I think you know me well enough to know I'm not one of those people that says, well, just comply and this doesn't happen. You know, I'm not Tom Homan here. With that being said, he's in kind of a fighting stance and he's moving towards the officer. Why doesn't the officer take out his taser? I think that would have been justified. Don't use lethal force. Take out your taser, put handcuffs on him. Why doesn't he take out his taser? I think that's the number one question. If I'm trying to prosecute this police officer, you're trained in a situation like this. He doesn't have a gun on his person. At least I didn't see it. I don't believe deadly force should have been used. Why don't you tase this man, put handcuffs on him? Now, if you try tasing him and that doesn't work, then maybe it's another conversation. But why don't you take out your gun and kill him immediately? But that's the part that really is confusing to me. Now, with that being said, and maybe you guys might disagree with me on this, I think this is not an open and shut case. The question is, did this police officer believe that his life was in jeopardy? Now, based on the video that I saw, I do believe rightfully so he should be charged and I would find him guilty. But to me, if I'm trying to prosecute this officer, you're trained in law enforcement. Take out your taser first, unless this guy is pointing a gun at you. Unless this guy is lunging at you with a knife, then that's different. Then you got to take out your gun and you got to shoot. That would be justified. But he doesn't have a weapon on his person. So what are you doing? Take out your taser. Don't use lethal force. And hopefully that puts him on the ground, and then put your handcuffs on him. That's what should have been done. That would have been the proper protocol. And obviously this officer didn't do that. So I do think that this is justified. Will this be an open and closed case? I'm not so sure about that. But I am glad that a jury did indict him because I think that was appropriate.
Mustafa?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brian hit it on the head. I was sitting here thinking, you know, non-lethal force. That should always be the go-to in these situations. But unfortunately, we've seen enough video that shows the differences between how African-American or Black men are handled and how others, especially white brothers, are actually handled. I have literally seen and watched numerous times when, a white brother is out there engaging with the police officer, running at them, swinging at them, attacking them, and, lethal force is not being, brought forward. But it is a different situation. So we don't have to just talk about what we've seen on video. There are literally studies out there that show the difference, between what happens with Black folks and white folks in these types of situations. And unfortunately, Black folks often lose their lives when guns are drawn and when police officers feel that they are in a threatened situation. Now, we can unpack that because there's also a psychological component to that where we are seen as a threat, even when we don't have a weapon. So there are lots of different complexities here, but it comes down really simply to, we are often dehumanized and are seen as more violent and a greater threat than others. And therefore, people often pull the trigger on us when they give others a pass.
Indeed, indeed. All right, folks, so we're going to go to a break. We come back. We want to talk with the Tarrant County Commissioner, Elisa Simmons. Now, remember, they gerrymandered her seat out. Republicans did because they wanted not 3-2 majority, 4-1 majority. She's now running for county judge. Now the white Republican county judge, he is slashing almost in half polling locations. They're trying to rig the election, y'all. Right before our very eyes. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support the work that we do. Join our Brain and Funk fan club. You want to contribute via Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. You also have this for credit cards as well. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com for ways to give. Checks and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back. All right, folks, let me get personal for a second. My mom had questions about her Medicare, so she called Chapter, a Medicare advisory company, and she texted me right after saying it's a great benefit. It was easy. A real person walked her through the whole thing, and now she understands better what's going on. But it's not just her. A woman in Yonkers wrote in saying the process was so simple, the enrollment was easy, and she was so glad she called. Then there's Marilyn, 90 years old, in Florida, living on Social Security. Her premium climbed every single year north of $400 a month for coverage she could barely afford anymore. So what does she do? She called Chapter. They found her the same top-tier coverage for hundreds of dollars less. 90 years old, and finally somebody in her corner. I hear stories like that again and again from our community. The Medicare system was not built to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans. Yet Chapter's advisors are independent and honest, the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. They're focused on one thing, what actually works for you. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. No games, and people who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. All it takes is 20 minutes. You talk to a real person, and it's completely free help. So call Chapter at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281. That's Chapter.
Let me ask you a question. Why do so many people seem to think they know black men so well? What they think we want, what they think we need. Hell, they even tried to tell us why and how we voted, but never had a conversation with us. Never asked us how we felt, what brings us joy, what makes us angry, what makes us scared. How do we live? That's what this show is about. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. This will be a show where we bring brothers on that you don't see on every other talk show. Nope. Brothers that are doing work in local communities with black men for black communities. We're going to hear each other and try to understand so perhaps we can move forward together. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. Nope. What we need is each other. No translation, right here on the Black Star Network. Check it out.
Now that Roland Martin is willing to give me the blueprint, hey, Cyrus, I need to go to Tyler Perry and get another blueprint because I need some green money. The only way I can do what I'm doing, I need to make some money. So you'll see me working with Roland. Matter of fact, it's the Roland Martin and Cheryl Underwood show. Well, should it be the Cheryl Underwood show and the Roland Martin show? Well, whatever show it's going to be good.
Trump administration continues its attacks on the Haitian community in Ohio, folks. Now the administration is summoning those Haitian immigrants to immigration offices to either be removed from the country or forced to wear ankle monitors before facing a deportation hearing. In June, the Supreme Court allowed for the administration to revoke protections for roughly 350,000 Haitians in the United States. Thousands of Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, with temporary protected status were called into immigration and custom enforcement offices in recent days to be equipped with monitoring devices and blocked from traveling outside a 75-mile radius from their homes. This newfound attack on Haitians has sparked numerous protests around Springfield. Joe, what the hell?
Yeah, this is nuts. This is a complete attempt to dehumanize these individuals. Now, as a practical matter, it would be interesting to see what these communities would do economically. Often, it's the immigrant community that is the bolster and the rock or the bedrock foundation economically of some of these communities. So, it's interesting. They might mess around and get what they wish for. I'm sure the lawsuit's coming. It ought to be. And we'll see where it can go down the road because what they're doing is not, it's not what it needs to be. All right. The dehumanization, making certain people less than, and continuing to perpetuate this charade as if somehow putting a ankle bracelet on a law-abiding citizen actually makes you more safe. It's absolutely nuts. But they have to be careful. Just like I said, they might mess around and get what they wish for. If they don't have the economic power that immigrants in general, not the least of which are Haitian immigrants in this particular situation, in these particular places, that place in Ohio, places in other states, if they don't have that economic foundation, a lot of those communities will not survive. So they better hope that they don't get what they wish for. Hopefully people wake up to this terrible, terrible thing, and they respond the way they need to at the polls, and with economic, with an economic effect. Maybe a boycott, maybe something that forces them to think, okay, you want to do without them, you'll do without us. Now support yourself, and we'll see what happens then.
Listen, I made it clear this administration is racist, Mustafa. They only want white people coming to this country. They only want white refugees. Donald Trump has literally said it. This is not all, this is your opinion. He's literally said it.
Right. And Joe's right. He talked about dehumanization, but this is deeper than that. This is about psychological submission. It's about physical torment. It is about bringing forward the tools of the past. Let me unpack what I mean by that. I'm not Greg Carr, but I know a little bit. It is, Black folks through our history, remember when we had to actually wear, you had these punishment collars, you had these bells that would ring. They did that, make sure that you were, getting in alignment with what their program was at that time. It was also about making sure that you couldn't run away, all these different types of things. And then they upgraded it to the spurred anklets. So you literally would have these anklets that had these protruding pieces of iron. Now, it stopped you from being able to run through forests, but it also was to make sure that you continually felt the physical despair that they had put upon you. So I want folks to understand this is not a new playbook. Just because you now have this ankle monitor, this is just the 21st century version of things that people have done to Black folks throughout the history of this country. So yes, Joe's right. We should be making sure that we have economic boycotts or making sure that we're utilizing, our financial power to address these types of things. Yes, we got to make sure that we're voting so you don't have these types of individuals who continue to bring forward these very antiquated, evil sets of actions. But we also got to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters. And unfortunately, some folks have difficulty in understanding that if we are of the African diaspora, that what affects one of us affects all of us. It just may come in different forms and fashions. So now is the moment to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Well, the other thing is, Brian, it would be great to see, we played last week Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, Republican, talking about the contributions of these Haitians. It would be great to see other Republicans in that state speak up, because the reality is those Haitian immigrants saved Springfield. But, Jim Jordan won't say jack. J.D. Vance spread those lies as well. And so here's what's going to happen. They're going to sit here and do, it's going to be FAFO. And guess what, Springfield, Ohio? When your city dies economically, and then when all of a sudden your homes are not being bought, jobs not being taken, and your sales tax receipts actually drop, then y'all might be thinking about those Haitians.
Yeah. Well, good luck waiting for these middle-aged, white, crusty MAGA Republicans to stand up for anybody brown, let alone Haitians. This was never about making America great again. As I've been saying this for years, it's make America white again. That's what that really means. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Do we remember this lie put forth by J.D. Vance? And then Donald Trump saying it on a debate stage with Kamala Harris? It was embarrassing. Did they ever retract? Did they ever apologize when it was actually a white woman and her cat that went lost, and then she found her cat. Did we hear any retractions or apologies? Nope. The excuse from J.D. Vance was, well, those were what my constituents told me, even though you had local law enforcement, the mayor, and even the governor saying basically that it was a lie. This is what the Trump administration does. They want to treat brown people like animals. And I ask MAGA Republicans this question all the time when we're talking about immigration and how they treat brown people. Why is it that the Trump administration has welcomed with open arms 100% white people from South Africa that are seeking asylum, but they haven't done that for one brown person? It's funny, I still haven't received a real answer from any of these people, but I think we all know what the real answer is, because this is a racist administration, because this man, Donald J. Trump, has been a racist his entire life. We could go back to the thousands of discrimination lawsuits that he had to pay out in Manhattan. The man's own father was arrested at a Klan rally. So that's what this administration is all about. I would love to see some Republicans out there defend some of these Haitians. I think they're wonderful people. They're great for their communities. But I think we're going to be waiting a very long time until we actually see some of these Republicans step up when it comes to this or anything else involving racial relations.
Yeah, I mean, it's who they are. This is the nonsense that they do, and it shows you in terms of their actions and how nonsensical they are. And, of course, they're being led by an absolute imbecile. He had a rambling news conference, and this fool, this twice-impeached, criminally convicted felon, con man, absolutely despicable individual, he's always been trashing Democrat-led cities, but listen to what he described.
I don't happen to be running, but a lot of very good Republicans are running. And you have a sick ideology taking place right now that, hopefully they'll be defeated because they'll destroy the country if they ever take over. But this desk is like a blocking desk, no matter who gets in. If it's bad, I block, and I'm good at blocking. If it's bad, if it's stupid things like the things they want to do, we want to get rid of the U.S. Senate. I don't like a lot of Senate, just to be honest with you. I don't want to get rid of the Senate. We want to get rid of the Supreme Court. They want to put now 21 or 23 people, that's the real, on the Supreme Court, or get rid of it. They want to get rid of the presidency. They want to have an appointed executive running. That's a communist thing, That's a communist thing. These are sick people. And, I said it the other day, and it maybe doesn't sound that important, but when a country goes bad, like look at the blue cities. What do they have in common, aside from massive crime? Much more crime. The Republicans have very little crime. But what do the blue cities have in mind? And also you can say this with nations when they go bad. The blue cities have something in common, crime, high crime, vicious, violent crime. But what do they have in common? They're all dirty. They're filthy dirty. Their streets are dirty. Their streets smell. Their storefronts are broken. Their trees are all gross. Everything about the place is dirty. And I don't want to mention any specific city. It's really all of them. But you go into these cities that are blue, they're crime-ridden, and they're filthy dirty. They're like Washington, D.C. was a year and a half ago, with graffiti all over the place, with crime all over the place, with people afraid to be here. You had to be ashamed of your capital. Some of the most beautiful buildings built in the real time. Like you look at the Supreme Court building and they put graffiti on it. The most beautiful columns I've ever seen. In fact, our columns are going to be nicer at the ballroom. I said, I want the Supreme Court, but better. But you look at those columns, and then you see graffiti on the side of the building. No artistry, just bad people. But the one thing they all have in common, crime, the two things, crime, but they're disgusting. They're filthy dirty. The streets are dirty. They have people lying all over the street doing you know what. They're all the same. And this is what we're going to put in it. Not going to happen in our country.
Wow, it's amazing how he skips over the crime in rural America in many of those red states. But he's a liar. That's what he does. I mean, he is a liar. He is the liar in chief. And that's what it's all about. Oh, by the way, Brian, last I checked, crime is way down in New York City. Crime is way down in Baltimore. And he can't take credit for those actions because it wasn't his policies. But this is who this man is. He is despicable. And the things that he's, I mean, again, and this also goes to show you how shameful the right wing is. If Biden, if Obama, I mean, my God, we saw what happened when Obama said that the Cambridge, Massachusetts police acted stupidly in arresting Skip Gates after he identified himself, how they just lost their minds. Obama had to have a damn beer summit with the cop in Skip Gates. Yet, then they acted a fool with Hillary Clinton saying deplorable, but it's amazing, right-wing media, it's just so quiet when the filth comes out of this fool's mouth.
Yeah, and that's why I say right-wing media is so dangerous. If you watch Fox News, they'll constantly show black people committing crimes. They'll paint the picture that black people are the only people in society that commit crimes. If you listen to what Donald Trump says, he'll make it sound like it's only left-leaning cities and cities that are run by Democrat mayors. When you actually look at the statistics, the cities with the most crime are cities run by Republican mayors, not Democrats. But Donald Trump makes it sound like the only criminals and the only crime that's happening is in cities that are run by Democrats. Now, obviously, we know that's a lie. If you really talk about criminals and you want to talk about people that should be wearing ankle bracelets, it would probably be at least half of the Trump administration, including Donald Trump, by the way, which I remind everybody, who is an actual 34-count convicted felon. So I'm just so tired of this rhetoric. You know, it's only Democrats that are committing crimes. And if they're not attacking brown people on a daily basis, they're attacking transgenders. Look at the shiny object in the room. But the real criminals are the ones that are in the White House right now and some of the biggest crime-ridden cities and states. You know, you'll never hear him talking about Florida. You'll never hear him talking about Memphis, Tennessee. You'll never hear him talking about cities that are run by Republicans where you have rampant crime. But no, if you listen to Donald Trump, it's only the Democrats. It's only the Democrats that are committing the crime. It's only the brown people that are committing the crime. And again, I'm not making that up. Watch right-wing media. OAN, Newsmax, Fox News. They'll paint the picture that it's only undocumented immigrants and brown people that are committing crimes in this country. You'll see it on social media, even from conservatives that are black. You know, Tatum is another guy who I go after all the time because they make money off of stupid white MAGA supporters. They'll go on social media, and as a black man, he'll go on Twitter and he'll show videos of only black people committing crimes. And as I always post on social media, I'll say it's the daily post of showing black people committing crimes because the white MAGA supporters eat it up. Just like when Donald Trump blames Democrats for all of your problems, the stupid white MAGA supporters eat it up. And quite frankly, I'm tired of it because it's not true. It's dangerous. And for ill-informed people, they paint the picture that it's only Democrats and it's only brown people that are committing all the crime in this country, where that couldn't be the furthest from the truth.
I guess, Mustafa, the only thing really smelly is sitting behind Donald Trump at a funeral.
I'm going to leave that one alone. I do know that he continues to make the swamp swampier. I'm real clear about that. I'm also real clear that whenever he opens his mouth, it sounds like he doesn't have any idea what the hell he's talking about. So let's just unpack that. So let's talk about federal buildings and graffiti. How in the world are you going to have graffiti on federal buildings when you got cameras everywhere and you got guards walking around 24/7, making sure that there are no crimes that are being committed or no one is in a location where they're not supposed to be? You know, in relationship to blue cities, let's just be clear that many of those blue cities are actually the drivers of our economy. So they're actually covering the cost for everybody across our country, but he never wants to talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that if it's not part of a campaign trail, there's a whole lot of places across this country that he's never been because he's never seen any value in actually being there. And if you have not spent time on the ground with folks, you have no reason to actually be talking about their particular cities or their communities because you have no way of validating what you're saying besides what you're picking up on social media and picking up from stations that have no interest in actually telling the truth about what America looks like. The last thing that I'll say is a president is supposed to be someone who's pulling the country together and not being a divider. And every time he says something, he divides the nation, which makes us weaker, makes us more vulnerable. So a good president would actually be focusing upon all of the positive things that are going on and finding solutions wherever there might be gaps and work that still needs to be done.
Joe.
down in LA and crime is down in Chicago. And to Mustafa's points, blue cities and blue states pay the bills. So don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know, they can sit, it's just amazing. The idea that this gets any press at all, you know, what he said is just so ridiculous. It's like, there's nothing presidential about it. Like, why would he say this? This doesn't make any sense. Why would people jump on that and really treat that like it's gospel and listen to it and actually value it as if something is actually being contributed? So it's crazy, you know, and it would be laughable if so much wasn't being undone and so much wasn't being destroyed in the meantime that could take generations to bring back. So, you know, clearly, you know, he can rip blue cities if he wants to, but the city that he spent the most time in and that he seems to want to be revered by is a blue city, and it'll always be a blue city. And it just got bluer from what I can tell by electing the current mayor. So he can say that if he wants to. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we'll just keep paying the bills.
All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. We come back. We're going to check with Tarrant County Commissioner Elisa Simmons about the latest attack on voting rights by MAGA Republicans in Texas. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. All right, folks, let me get personal for a second. My mom had questions about her Medicare, so she called Chapter, a Medicare advisory company, and she texted me right after saying it's a great benefit. It was easy. A real person walked her through the whole thing, and now she understands better what's going on. But it's not just her. A woman in Yonkers wrote in saying the process was so simple, the enrollment was easy, and she was so glad she called. Then there's Marilyn, 90 years old, in Florida, living on Social Security. Her premium climbed every single year north of $400 a month for coverage she could barely afford anymore. So what does she do? She called Chapter. They found her the same top-tier coverage for hundreds of dollars less. 90 years old, and finally somebody in her corner. I hear stories like that again and again from our community. The Medicare system was not built to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans. Yet Chapter's advisors are independent and honest, the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. They're focused on one thing, what actually works for you. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. No games. People who switched with Chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. All it takes is 20 minutes. You talk to a real person, and it's completely free help. So call Chapter at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281. That's Chapter.
Let me ask you a question. Why do so many people seem to think they know black men so well? What they think we want, what they think we need. Hell, they even tried to tell us why and how we voted, but never had a conversation with us. Never asked us how we felt. What brings us joy? What makes us angry? What makes us scared? How do we live? That's what this show is about. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. This will be a show where we bring brothers on that you don't see on every other talk show. Nope. Brothers that are doing work in local communities with black men for black communities. We're going to hear each other and try to understand so perhaps we can move forward together. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. Nope. What we need is each other. No translation, right here on the Black Star Network. Check it out.
Melanie Campbell, National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and Black Women's Roundtable. And we are watching Roland Martin Unfiltered all day, every day, 24/7. Spread the word.
Folks, when the Shelby v. Holder decision came down, Republicans raced to start rigging elections. What did they first start doing? Cutting polling locations, enacting voter ID laws, making it harder to vote. Well, in Tarrant County, Texas, the last large county in Texas that's red, the MAGA Republican commissioners held a hearing to consider a proposal to slash polling locations ahead of November's midterm elections. Now let me say it again. This is one of the largest counties in Texas. Now, for now, the motion is tabled, but if the decision is approved, residents could see a nearly 50% fewer polling locations. What does that mean? Massive lines. That means long wait times. They would go from 316 sites in the last midterm, 2022, to 176 for this year. Early voting locations would be also cut from 50 to 42. Those who oppose the plan say the move would make it harder for Tarrant County's 1.3 million registered voters to cast a ballot. They say the move would be especially harmful to communities of color who stand to lose the most polling places compared to other demographic groups. Proponents say midterms often see lower turnout and the cuts would save the county money. The commissioners questioned election administrator Clint Ludwig about his suggestion to cut polling places.
Tarrant County currently has 707 election precincts.
Correct.
The proposal that you're bringing, this court combines them into 340 election day precincts.
Yes, it does, but it doesn't change the election numbers, nor will it change any reporting. So all precincts are still reported as the individual precinct number. So it just affects the calculation when it comes to polling locations. Or if we had been precinct-based, that would be the 340 precincts that we would have to, those combined precincts, that geographic area would be where we would have to have a polling location.
Who came up with this? You, your team? Did you involve citizens, the party folks?
The combining of the polling locations, that was myself and my team. Obviously, we just took the rules that were there, followed them, used our GIS mapping people to figure it out, precinct numbers, and got the combined precincts.
And you have a precinct by precinct analysis of how you, what I don't have is your methodology.
Oh yeah, we just sort of just did it. Last year, the Tarrant County Commissioners Court, a Republican majority, voted to cut more than 100 election day voting sites. Remember, they also gerrymandered there because they had a 3-2 majority, and so what they did was they eliminated the commissioner's seat of my next guest, Commissioner Elisa Simmons, who's actually running for Tarrant County judge. She joins us right now. So I know you're sitting there going, seriously, y'all think I'm supposed to believe this bullshit?
Correct. Full of shit. That county judge that I am sitting next to directed that elections administrator to cut those polling places. Ain't nobody stupid. I mean, that guy did not come up with that on his own without consulting any one of the 5 commissioners. Come on, stop it. What happened today, we had so much public participation. I mean, we had 2 overflow rooms, that unhinged county judge who is so emotional. You know, we're the commissioner's court where you can't clap or you can't say amen or you can't go, if somebody makes a good comment. He throws my constituents out. And so today he was throwing people out left and right, and he emptied the entire chamber. And I think it finally clicked for him, like, what have I done? And so he started backpedaling, and he started throwing that elections administrator under the bus and saying, well, I didn't expect this many cuts, and nobody consulted me. I said, ain't this some shit? These people have driven me nuts. You're going to go from 316 election day polling sites down to 176.
Now, when he presented that,
were cut.
When he presented that, did he show where the cuts would be? Did we lose, Commissioner? All right, did we lose the Commissioner? Okay, all right, y'all. So let me do this here. Let's go to a break, and let's get her back because I want to really hear. First of all, pull that video up right now. So this is the video y'all, she told y'all it was packed. And then you just heard her say how the county judge damn near emptied the whole place. And see, somebody in the YouTube chat said that place should have been packed. Y'all, it was packed. But as you heard her say, he wiped people out. He ran them out of the room. That's what he does. And so, but I also need to put this into context, y'all. A month from now, we're going to be celebrating our 8th anniversary of Roland Martin Unfiltered. Do y'all understand that the Tarrant County District Attorney continues to try to put Crystal Mason in prison? That's what's happening in Tarrant County. Do y'all understand how many people who have died in the Tarrant County jail? I need y'all to understand. Y'all, Tarrant County leadership, Tarrant County's MAGA leadership is heinous. No accountability whatsoever. We got the commissioner back, and you were describing. So what I was asking you is, so did the elections administrator show where are most of the cuts? Are they in black neighborhoods? Are they in Latino neighborhoods?
Yes. Yes. I had him send me the list earlier last week. Send me the list of our 2022 election day polling places. That was the last midterm, right? Comparatively to the 2026, I said, you send me the list of what you cut. I'm not about to go in there and look. You send me the list of what you cut. Poly, Stop Six, Como, Northside, black and Hispanic neighborhoods. So yes, 100%. And then I live in a mixed area, mostly white people. They cut the 6 polling places near my house, near my precinct, down to 2. What? Y'all done cut the white people polling place. Roland, I probably should not be your guest today.
No, but see, of course, because I want people, because see, this is the thing, that the reason I wanted to discuss this, the reason I wanted you on, because what I've also been imploring our people, and I've made it perfectly clear on this show, we don't deal with no bullshit gossip. We don't care who got married, who got divorced, who had a baby. If they want to do the entertainment stuff, we don't spend time talking about sports. We don't do all this sort of stuff. We're not wasting our time, because the things that we talk about on this show are life and death. Now, if you want to sit here, if people want to deal with that gossip and all that other shit and all that Real Housewives and who dating who married who, go to hell somewhere else. You know what? And give them those clicks. But what we're talking about here, literally, I need people to understand what I'm saying. It's life and death. It's life and death. There are families in Tarrant County right now who are in mourning because their loved ones have died in that Tarrant County jail. And that judge, what's his name? The guy you running against?
Oh, Judge Tim O'Hare.
Yeah, Tim O'Hare.
Executive. In Texas, we call him a county judge.
Yeah, Tim O'Hare hasn't done a damn thing. The MAGA sheriff hasn't done a damn thing. You got this right-wing crazed DA, what's his name?
Bill Sorrells, that his punk ass was, I had him there today to talk about this election integrity task.
And isn't he on the ballot in November?
No. Yes, he is. And we have a sister running against him, and she's cold.
Okay, so Kara, get her on the show. The reason I want all to explain, because, and I said this months ago when I said that the AKs, you remember, the Alphas, the D9, all these groups, there should be a massive black mobilization happening in Tarrant County because people are dying. They are dying. And so when you talk about cutting polling locations, what they're trying to do is to keep folk from voting because, let's be real, I want you to explain to the people, because they are scared. Those special elections that y'all had in Tarrant County, they are seeing Democratic turnout. They're seeing, those were white folks. Those were white folks who were mad with those Moms for Liberty people and the crap they were doing with banning books and stuff along those lines. And they said enough. So Tim O'Hare and Soros, they are scared to death that they are going to lose in November, and that's why they cut these locations. That's why they're proposing to cut these locations.
Yes. Look, I'm going to go to the jail desk for just a second. In June, June, I had 3 jail deaths in 4 days. Hear me. June 15th, June 16th, June 8th, I had 3 jail deaths in 4 days. And then 7 days later, I had a 4th. This is in June. So in 10 days, in the Tarrant County Jail, I had 4 jail deaths. 2 of them, they took the shackles off and released them on their deathbed to say that they were not in custody deaths. That is the kind of leadership I am dealing with here in Tarrant County, almost by myself on that commissioner's court. Thank God for the activists and advocates that I work with daily. They are white, they're Latino, they are Black, and I work with them. I am the people. And so we were able to get out there today. They knew, I told them that, hey, the lists are going to be voted upon on Tuesday, and they mobilized. And I give them a lot of credit for coming down there. We had, 156 speakers. We had, lots more, hundreds more that sent in comments, and they just let my colleagues have it today. But this is important. These people are cutting us out in our primary. So my Democratic primary, we had 40,000 more people vote than the Republicans had in their primary. They are scared. And before that, we had that Senate District 9 race with Taylor Rimmet, a white union guy, really great guy, up against 2 Republicans with millions of dollars. I think Taylor raised $100,000. And he got into a runoff with one of those wealthy Republicans, and he won. He won a special election for a Senate race. And so the Democrats in Tarrant County,
I don't know what's going on. We're losing. We lost the commissioner again. I'm going to go to my panelists, get her back, because I really want her to finish. The reason we're harping on this, because, again, Mustafa, I need people to see how they're trying to rig elections. Trump keeps yelling about how elections got rigged. He has no proof. What they're doing is, this is how they're actually doing. I think we got Commissioner back. So, Commissioner, you were making a point. Go ahead.
Yes. And so, yes, look, my 3 Republican colleagues, they're MAGA. They stop at nothing. Today, the people we stopped them today. I will be adding polling places back to the list next, whenever we meet again. I have a list of polling places I am going to propose adding back. They'll probably vote them down. They may add 1 or 2 from their communities, Southlake and Keller and places like that. But I am going to, I'll probably have a list of 30 that I'm going to try to add back. It is just ridiculous, the depths that these guys go to. They cannot win. He is not going to beat me. I guarantee it. He is not going to beat me. I'm not a rah-rah cheerleader chick. I'm just telling you what our polls show, what his polls show, and his leadership and how loathed he is in Dallas-Fort Worth. So I'm going to beat him. They're going to try and cheat.
Yeah, listen, they're gonna try all they can to rig. And again, I need people to understand. I'm trying to paint a broader picture. We're talking about them cutting polling locations, but I need people to understand what is literally happening in this county under Republicans. Look, they're in power. There are numerous people. Y'all, there was a federal investigation under Biden-Harris of the Tarrant County Jail, and when Trump got in, it went away. And people continue to die in that jail, and they refuse to answer why. What is going on in the Tarrant County Jail? And even though you have an elected sheriff, Commissioner's Court controls the budget. So they have a say-so in what's going on.
Yep. This sheriff's been in office since 2017. 80 in custody deaths. That is a lot. That is an exorbitant amount. Tarrant County has 69 elected officials in the county clerk, district clerk, sheriff, commissioners. There are 7 of us who are Democrats. So this is a MAGA-run county, and it is about to flip. It's going to flip. I'm going to be the county judge. There's a brother who is running for my seat, Dr. Jarrett Williams. He was on the Fort Worth City Council 2 years. I think he's like 36 or something like that. Brilliant. So I can win county judge. I need Jarrett to win precinct 2, or else I won't have control of that court. And so we need control of that court so I can fix this county, stop all this insanity, all these jail deaths. We need a new district attorney. Tiffany Burks is phenomenal. She used to be first chair over at the DA's office for years, and she's in private practice now. We have a slate of judicial candidates, a bunch of bad sisters, and white brothers and sisters running too. So it is prime for Tarrant County to flip, and we've got to do it. Now, of course, Tim O'Hare's he's going to have millions, and I'm not going to have that. So we just, we've been block walking. The Democratic Party here has been unified. We need Black people to show up at these polls. They really need to help us volunteer, but they do need to show up at the polls. They need to get their cousins, them, and everybody in November to vote in these local elections. Local, because y'all call me when your people get in jail.
Yep.
And I go see about them. I get them their tampons. I get all that. I make sure all that happens. So that's y'all calling me. Y'all can't get Talarico on the phone. Y'all can get me on the phone and my staff.
Questions from the panel. Brian, you first.
I guess a question that I would ask you is, how on earth, if you have to, how do you work with some of these MAGA Republicans? Because for me, I'll debate some of these MAGA Republicans and I lose my mind trying to talk to these people, but I don't necessarily have to work with them. So that's my question to you. How do you work with some of these lunatics? How do you work with some of these crazy MAGA Republicans on the right? And as I learned some more about some of the stuff they've done in your district, how do you work with them?
God. I go to Commissioner's Court very, very prepared. There's not much they can get over on me. I try to focus on the issues of the county. My staff and I go through that agenda with a fine-tooth comb. I think me and my entire staff of 5 left the office last night after midnight. Because they try to slide so much on the agenda, and they're wasteful. They're dipping into reserves because guess why? Our sheriff forgot to budget for overtime. So don't ever tell me these MAGA guys are fiscally responsible. $7 million, we had to dip into reserves for the sheriff's department overtime. $10 million because somebody screwed up on the Blue Cross Blue Shield employee benefits. So they're not conservative. But I called them out. This man, and Roland can remind you and find the clip, he told me, you sit there, you be quiet, and you speak when I tell you to. And I'm like, oh my God, and it's just, they vote against every proposal I want. It could be for, it's for the community. It's for sub-recipients. It's for community groups. It's for people. It's for programs. They vote against. They just 1, 2, 3 vote against it. It is tough. It is disheartening. I am thankful for the advocates. Again, thank God for the great white people, the Latinos, and my brothers and sisters who don't leave me down there. If I couldn't look out in that audience and see those folks, I probably would have crumbled by now. But I'm here for it, and I'm thankful for the advocates.
Joe?
I'll say the same thing, Commissioner. I said to Jasmine Crockett, you strike me as a real one. Don't take but a minute to see that. But I want to ask you two things. First of all, this recent hearing, you have the overflow rooms. You have a lot of people there going there, obviously scared to death of you running. That's why, they didn't made you special, that they want to actually cut away, hundreds of polling places, right? Are you optimistic that people are actually getting it, that they really understand and they're tired enough, sick and tired enough of being sick and tired, that they'll do what they need to do as you do the things that you need to do to, among other things, bridge build. It's hard to be a bridge builder when you're dealing with the things that you're dealing with, but you're finding a way to do it. And connected to that, how do those regular folks support your campaign?
So, yes, I am very optimistic that people in Dallas-Fort Worth have gotten it. And I'll give you some reasons why. Because Jasmine and I are close. We've been knowing each other since before either of us were elected. When I was NAACP president, and she used to help me with my cases and stuff like that. And so I'm not a Jasmine, so I can't walk into some place and people know me, except now I can. Grocery store, restaurant, and people come up, any ethnicity, I promise you, and say, I got your back. Thank you for doing what you're doing. How do you put up with it? Can I give you a hug? So people are getting it. When I call, they come. All of the organizations, there's all sorts of organizations doing the work, but they are working together. So it can be unity in the community. It could be the Fort Worth Tarrant County NAACP. It could be the Justice Coalition of Tarrant County. It could be United Fort Worth. It could be the Broadway Baptist Church. They all work together, and their focus is on the county. They look at the school district, they look at city council, but our county judge and myself, the focus is on the county, and people I can be in Dallas, I can be in Frisco, and people go, oh my God, it's you. Thank you for doing what you're doing. So, of course, campaigns take money, and so, I don't know if I can do this here. VoteAlisa.com.
Yes, you can. Right, Roland? Thank you.
And then we need volunteers, and we have a good volunteer cadre, but we need more, because we're on these doors every weekend, and we're expanding it to the week, and we're phone banking, and I'm going to need people at the polls, poll greeting. So. And just text people, text them this shit y'all saw today, insanity, and say, this is what's running your county. This is your health department, your county hospital, MHMR, mental health, mental services. The county runs everything. Name something. DA's office, like Roland talked about, Crystal Mason. I don't want an update on the Crystal Mason case, because I don't want to get him started again. I had the DA come today and talk to us about this bogus ass election integrity unit that they established when we first came into office in 2023. You have 1/10. What the hell did he say? How many cases do you have? Of all the cases the DA has, election fraud cases are like 1/10 of a something. Like, man, so you have a whole election integrity task force for what? To go and hunt down people like Crystal Mason and try to make a case out of it.
Yep.
This county is insane. It's led by racists. I just told you, 69 of the 69 elected county officials, only 7 of us are minority and Democrat. So, no, we have zero judges on the bench. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
0 judges on the bench. Every judge on the bench here is MAGA. Everyone.
Yep.
All your district judges, all of them.
So, folks, so one, you can get the website. I own the show, so you ain't got it. So, y'all, the site is Vote Alisa Simmons, ALISA Simmons.com, VoteAlisaSimmons.com. And yes, you can give to her campaign, even if you don't live in Tarrant County, don't live in Texas. Mustafa, your question.
Yeah. Commissioner, it's good to see you again. My granddaddy taught me that you have to help people to be able to see a brighter day. I'm curious if you could share with folks how the day will be brighter when you're elected.
When I am elected, I will respect people's First Amendment rights. I will go back to, we meet once a month. How do you conduct the business of a county? We're the 3rd largest county in Texas, okay? We're the 14th largest county in the country. These guys, to try and shut me up, and all of the advocates that we get down to the court meetings, we went from 4 meetings to 2 meetings to 1 meeting a month. And we meet at 10 a.m. But those people sacrifice and they come down there. So we're going to make Commissioners Court accessible again. All the people that signed up to speak today, you know how long they got to speak? 1 minute. So we're going to give them their 3 minutes back. I may give them more than that back. And then we're going to restore services like our Human Services Department that deals with, that gives out rental assistance, utility assistance to our senior citizens. We shuttered that department last year. They shuttered that department almost a year ago. We stopped with rental assistance and utility assistance and help with hygiene products. We have eliminated immunization programs. We've cut our hospital district tax rate, which has affected their income. There will be improvements, and I don't have to raise taxes to do it. We can trim the sheriff's department's budget. This guy gets everything he wants. We bought a armored vehicle about 3 years ago. That thing has not been in service one bit. They just built or refurbished a county building into a new law enforcement training center. Millions of dollars. And this guy forgets to budget for overtime by $7 million. So the people can expect access, and they already have access with me. They can expect transparency. We're going to have public dashboards that show what's going on in our jail, what's going on at the DA's office. There's just so much that can be improved here in this county for our constituents.
Absolutely. Folks, again, we're going to keep covering this. And this is the thing that what I keep trying to tell y'all. All y'all little simple Simons be yelling, oh, man, you shilling for Democrats. I just walk y'all through how people in Tarrant County, how black people are being neglected by MAGA Republicans. Folks, when you look at the Tarrant County jail, it's a lot of black people in that jail. And the people are dying, and there's literally no accountability. This show will be 8 years old on September 4th. It's a month from now. Do y'all know that Crystal Mason was on my first show? It is insane that we will be celebrating our 8th anniversary, and Crystal Mason is still fighting that DA in Tarrant County. That's why we should be having a massive, massive turnout of our people. And I hope your AKA sisters and my Alpha brothers and Kappas and Omegas and Deltas and Sigmas and Iotas and Zetas and Prince Hall Mason and Eastern Star and Jack and Jill and Lynx and Sigma Pi Phi Fraternity Boule, non-Greek churches. I hope we are seeing folk put the work in to have the largest black turnout they've ever seen in Tarrant County, to elect you county judge, to elect a new DA, to elect new commissioners, because I keep telling black people, We cannot leave our power at home. Sitting on the couch is not an option, and this is the time for us to show our power and let them know, you keep playing with us, we're going to show you how we roll. Commissioner Simmons.
I think we're going to show them this time. We're going to show them.
All right. I look forward to having you back. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, Roland. Bye-bye.
Can black people, y'all, black people just want to mind their business. We just want to go shop. We just want to go to a restaurant. We just want to have our kids sell lemonade on the side. And we've shown y'all before when these racist Karens and Kens roll up on black folk who are at pools. And what's crazy to me is that these racist white folk really believe that this is Jim Crow, where they get the right to demand to see our ID. That they get to walk around and say, we belong here, y'all don't belong here. Prove to me you live here. Lee Merritt, Texas attorney, posted this on his social media page of another encounter of a racist ass white woman accosting a black family who was just trying to enjoy the damn pool.
Okay, so I'm gonna record this. So I'm sitting out here with the pool with my children. I'm the only black man out here. So the nice white people come out here and tell me if I don't show them my ID, I have to leave. But no one else has to show their ID. So now she's finna call the police on me. And the police are gonna come in front of my children. And they smiling. Look at her smiling. They're smiling. She's smiling. But our residents here.
I'm telling you, I don't want to be recorded.
You being recorded. I'll be here. When the police come, I'll be here. So now they're calling the police on me. Karen and her friend, she's smiling because they're going to call the police on me because I don't have an ID on me. Who takes an ID to the swimming pool? And not just that, nobody else has been asked to show their identification. All right, let's see how this works out. This is crazy. Now my children are here. This is in front of my children. Welcome to Chicago. Look at the white man, he's swimming. The guy, there's a kid over there, does he need his ID? They are calling the police on me. This is crazy. This is so crazy. Where you going, Al? What?
If you just get your ID.
I'm not getting my ID. I don't have to show them no ID to be at the pool. Karen up and the other lady just smiling. This is crazy.
The cops and you could get in jail.
I don't want y'all to be traumatized by this though. No, don't cry. You don't have to cry. So have a seat, Kingston.
I want you to go to jail.
They're not gonna put me in jail.
Please, just get your ID.
No, we can. Just because we're black, we consider just like everybody else. Wow, welcome to Chicago. Yeah. Hey, peace and blessings. This is your boy Leo Sullivan. This is our last day of Chicago. Yesterday there was an incident. I think we handled it very well. Karen made us leave, tried to make us leave, called the police on us. We ended up having a fabulous time in Chicago. Unfortunately, when she called the police twice, because when I went to go ask her name and information, she said I was weird, and she wouldn't give me her information, her name, but she called the police on us and called us weird. Still, it was a learning experience. Got back to my room, the police came and knocked on the door for the second time. She reported I had harassed her, which was interesting. Fortunately, my kids were there, but it was a learning experience. Al, what would you say you learned from this entire experience?
I would say that I learned it shouldn't matter what color you are, but it definitely does. And my guys taught me to never judge someone off of the color of their skin, but their character on the inside. So yeah,
Okay, that's a good lesson, valuable lesson, huh? Kingston, what did you learn?
Just because a person's an idiot doesn't mean you have to be one.
An idiot. She was an idiot. Well, anyway, we got say a prayer for us. God is good. I want to say a shout out to my best friend since I've known since I was a teenager, a little teenager. Michael Hallman, I love you, man. We had a great time. Love you and the family. Y'all treat us so well, man. And we can't let one bad experience dictate, you know, what is best for humanity and what's best for our children. We learned a lot from this. Take us out, y'all.
All right. We the Sullivans.
We the Sullivans.
Okay. I'm really trying not to cuss right now. Because I need people watching to understand that what you just witnessed is trauma. Here is a black boy with his dad trying to enjoy the pool, and he is oh, she's calling the cops. I don't want nothing to happen to my daddy. Black boys and black girls are witnessing simple encounters turn into crime scenes and then funerals being planned. And this white woman having the audacity, Mustafa, to walk over and question him, but she didn't question nobody else around the pool. And see, when you get these folks who say, "Oh, no, that's just a one-off." No, we had way too many of these videos. And then when we got some folks, well, you shouldn't get that upset. Hell, it ain't happening to y'all.
Well, Cassidy asked you for your freedom papers. Cassidy also says, how is it that you could be at this nice pool? Cassidy also says that whenever I say you should get up and leave, you should leave. But people don't realize that it's not 1954, 1964. So Cassidy does not necessarily have the same power that it once does, but they do know how to weaponize it. And of course, the weaponization is, let me call law enforcement and create a narrative that when they come to the scene, it's often in a very confrontational situation. So we've got to understand the dynamics that Cassidy brings into situations, but also, as you aptly stated, also the impacts that it can have on our children if we are not also helping to prepare them for the reality of the situations that still exist inside of this country and the work that we still have to do.
And what angers me, Joe, is that we have to be the reasonable ones. We have to not overreact. We have to not get upset. We have to not scare the white woman. Because you saw the man said the cops came knocking his door a second time because of something her trifling heifer had to say. And I'm sitting there going to the cops, wait a minute. Y'all first heard the first bullshit she said, so you shouldn't have believed a damn thing coming out her damn mouth.
Right, exactly. And, once again, trying to attack one's humanity. Now, when he asked for her name, it didn't sound like he asked for ID. It sounded like he asked for her name. She stated that was weird, but it was perfectly okay for her to ask him for his ID, like she was the police. Okay? And I understand what it's like to watch your father, watch your hero deal with the police. And when you don't quite understand how important it is to respectfully and clearly stand up and assert your rights. I learned some lessons from my dad watching him do that as it pertains to some issues with his property where the police were giving him trouble and giving him problems, etc. And these boys will never forget the situation. I think Dad dealt with it masterfully. He dealt with it masterfully, and he's got them reflecting. What did we learn? What you learn from this situation and from this circumstance? So we know that, God forbid, they have a police contact or a Karen contact that they shouldn't. They're going to understand what their rights are. and they're going to deal with it the right way. Okay, and so it's a learning opportunity. It's a learning situation. But at the same time, you know, you got to ask yourself, how many times we're going to have to do this with these Karens? Because I'm going to tell you right now, this brother's on the regular, cool, calm, cool, and collected side. Because I know some folk that would have dealt with that Karen, and then the police really would have something to pick them up for. You know what I mean? So she might have got what she wanted, but she'd have had a black eye too. You know what I mean? So she's lucky that that this father was rational and the way that he needed to be. And so hopefully we can continue to use that as an example, see that for what it is, and say, as much as we want to curse, fight, whatever it is it might be, where we are morally justified in doing that and having righteous indignation, we know that the best thing that we can do to protect our children, protect our families, is to be seen as following the law, and do everything that we can so that if I've got a complaint and you got to complain, you got to call somebody like me, then hopefully it's because you lived through the contact, and you can move forward from there if you're still around.
Brian, this woman is a modern-day Carolyn Bryant. Carolyn Bryant, of course, who lied about Emmett Till. This woman lied.
Yep.
And this woman felt that her whiteness gave her authority to demand his ID, to demand his name. And if you don't give me what I'm asking you, I'm calling the cops on your black ass. That's literally what she did.
Embarrassing to watch, really embarrassing. I have a couple solutions here. First of all, I believe when people call the police like this, and clearly this is a case of racism, that woman should have to foot the bill. How much money did it cost taxpayers to have those police officers come out not once, but twice, for no reason at all? So if it's proven that she called the police for no reason, which clearly the only reason is that they're just black people that are enjoying themselves at a pool, she should have to foot the bill. The taxpayers have to pay to have these police officers come out here. Number two, I tell this to my listeners, Roland, all the time. I'm glad that he recorded this. Let's make her famous so that everybody knows who's the resident racist in your community. Find out who this woman's name is. Put it out all over social media. People need to know who these people are. I don't care whether you see someone treating somebody poorly because of the color of their skin at a 7-Eleven, if it's at a pool, if it's at a McDonald's. Make these people famous, put them on social media, find out where they work, and I hope this woman loses her job. I really do, because she's an embarrassment to society. She's an embarrassment to people who look like me. And I thought that young man who recorded this, the father, did a great job. And you have to record these people. You know, that's why we have cell phones with cameras down.
Listen, I agree with you, but let me remind you, the white racists who call that black kid the N-word at the park, the racists donated $750,000 to her.
Yep. You're right.
So I mean, and there are people like TNC Entertainment, people who are calling these people out, but this is just who these folks are. But when we see this, we're going to definitely show it, because we want to keep reminding folk that this is still happening in 2026. Quick break. We come back. ShopBlackStarNetwork.com segment. All right, folks, let me get personal for a second. My mom had questions about her Medicare, so she called Chapter, a Medicare advisory company, and she texted me right after saying it's a great benefit. It was easy. A real person walked her through the whole thing, and now she understands better what's going on. But it's not just her. A woman in Yonkers wrote in saying the process was so simple, the enrollment was easy, and she was so glad she called. Then there's Marilyn, 90 years old, in Florida, living on Social Security. Her premium climbed every single year north of $400 a month for coverage she could barely afford anymore. So what does she do? She called Chapter. They found her the same top-tier coverage for hundreds of dollars less. 90 years old, and finally somebody in her corner. I hear stories like that again and again from our community. The Medicare system was not built to work for you. Too much fine print, too many plans. Yet Chapter's advisors are independent and honest, the only Medicare advisors that compare every plan nationwide. We're focused on one thing, what actually works for you. If you're already in the right plan, they'll tell you. No games, and people who switched to a chapter saved an average of $1,100 a year. All it takes is 20 minutes. You talk to a real person, and it's completely free help. So call Chapter at 724-264-8281, 724-264-8281. That's Chapter.
Let me ask you a question. Why do so many people seem to think they know black men so well? What they think we want, what they think we need. Hell, they even tried to tell us why and how we voted, but never had a conversation with us. Never asked us how we felt, what brings us joy, what makes us angry, what makes us scared. How do we live? That's what this show is about. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. We can speak for ourselves. This will be a show where we bring brothers on that you don't see on every other talk show. Nope. Brothers that are doing work in local communities with black men for black communities. We're going to hear each other and try to understand so perhaps we can move forward together. No translation, because we don't need anybody speaking for us. Nope. What we need is each other. No translation, right here on the Black Star Network. Check it out.
I'm Ryan Wilson, CEO and co-founder of The Gathering Spot, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Created our marketplace segment specifically to highlight and promote black-owned businesses. What we have to recognize is that many of our businesses are actually sole proprietors, single businesses. And so how do we build capacity? Build capacity by being able to spread the word. So we created Shop Black Star Network for them to be able to sell their wares, also be able to promote. So let's say you're now looking for some authentic African jewelry. Well, Kendi Amani, a black-owned jewelry brand, features handcrafted pieces that have been made in Kenya. Each piece is crafted using eco-friendly materials, with many of the designs made from sustainably sourced brass. Founder Kendi Amani joins us now from Chicago. Glad to have you here. Kendi, why did you start this? What precipitated you wanting to do this?
Wow, so many things. Thank you for having me here today, Roland. Actually, piggybacking off the segment you just had, I actually had a career in technology, and I worked with many municipalities in introducing body-worn video camera technology. I did that for many years and decided it was time for a switch. The travel that I used to do was great, and in those travels, I discovered a passion that I had lying dormant inside of me for so many years. And that passion turned into this business, which allows me to connect my women back home with my women here. So I started Kendi Amani 8 years ago, and we are a fashion accessory brand. I like to say we are inspired by Africa and designed for adventure. So we have all kinds of items designed to elevate you as you go about your day-to-day adventures. Pleasure to be here.
So were you in Kenya, and were you just blown away by what you saw?
I'm from Kenya originally.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah.
Now, so how long did you live there before you came to the United States?
I came here when I was a teenager.
Okay. Okay. And so you came as a teenager, and then you said, hey, you know what? I see all this other jewelry. I think our stuff looks better.
Basically, yes. So I was always drawn to the vibrant colors that I would see in the marketplaces back home, that I would see women making. I always thought it was absolutely beautiful. But because we are from a colonial society, so many beautiful things that we had have been muted over the years, not even just in the US, but even in Africa. So there's this new resurgence of appreciation of our craftsmanship, of our beautiful goods that we can create. And so I saw an opportunity for myself to work with the women there, so creating opportunities, but also showcasing the world what we're capable of, and using these traditional techniques to make modern day pieces that everybody here loves. So
now when you say traditional, we say traditional techniques, what does that mean?
we bead by hand. So we're not using any machines. We're using the traditional beading methods. Some of our products do not feature any metals. We're using traditional beading closures. And so this is meticulous work that only skilled beaders can do. Each and every bead that you see like on these pieces is placed by hand. And so this is a special craft. This is something you really don't find anymore. And we're also able to handcraft all of our products. So whether it's our vibrant, beautiful Ankara African print sun hats that we use sewing machines, but we sew them one by hand. We have our travel bags that you'll see shortly, also made in our own facilities. And so we're very proud not only to also source our materials from Kenya. We have our workmanship, mostly women working on these products in Kenya, but we also, the rest of our team is mostly also women in Kenya. So our marketing, our social media, and that's all intentional. We are going to be the answer.
Cool.
We're looking for.
So we have this necklace right here, this of the continent here. What I do like about it, you can zoom in if you can, or another one of the cameras. What I do like, so typically when I've seen necklaces of the continent, it'll be just the continent here, but you actually have this other piece that's attached to it, which I think gives it a bit more character.
Right, and that piece you're holding is adjustable. So that is a draw. It's a drawstring. You can adjust it to make it longer or shorter. I thought you would like that, and that's why I included it. But what we do with all of our pieces is we add.
I see. Okay,
unique, something different.
I see right here.
You can stand out.
I see right here.
Right.
It says a drawstring. Yeah, I see. I got it.
We're also creating pieces that work for everyone, and so it's
that is cool.
Gender neutral. Right, you can make it as long. And so they're functional, beautiful, and again, designed to elevate your everyday look.
Okay, all right then. And what do we have here?
You have the same piece that's behind me. This is our Maasai necklace in long. I have it on today as well.
Oh,
Such
cool.
a statement piece. This is a showstopper. Every time anyone wears this piece, they get overflooded with compliments. Not one, not two. People get stopped everywhere. Where did you get that necklace? And so this is for the people that really want to stand out in their life. They take their life seriously. Like, we've got one life to live here. And so the way you show up everywhere in your everyday life is the journey that we're here to support you on. And so this is a fun piece. It comes in so many beautiful colors, assortments. And what you're seeing right now is my special beading assortment. So that is a custom color combination that I put together, and brass collar, so that you have that regal, that royal look that so many people associate with African culture, because it is.
So actually, what I also love about this here, and I know this piece, somebody may think I'm crazy, but a piece like this can actually turn, let's just say, a basic black outfit into something formal. So it would just by putting this on.
So that's what I have today. I have a very simple outfit. I have kids. I'm running around all day. When I'm ready to go to dinner, I put on one of my pieces and I'm ready to stand out. I'm ready for anything. So this is designed absolutely to elevate your look. Whether you're wearing a t-shirt, a formal dress, a solid color, a print, these pieces will definitely elevate your look and allow you to be the showstopper that you are.
All right then. Okay, so now we have this bag here. So first of all, let me open it up. So
yes.
Okay, so then
we call that.
You call this what?
We call that our villager tote bag. And so we have a variety of bags. This is just one of them. It's a very functional bag that you can use for your day-to-day work or vacation, or I use it for my kids to transport.
Or even now when you go grocery shopping, you got to carry your own bag. And so so you got stuff in here, then you also you've got a zip pouch that's actually, wow, that's a deep, because normally they're not that deep. That's a deep zip pouch. Yes. And then you have where you can put water bottles or something on either side.
On each side, right. And then you have the front pocket you missed, very deep front pocket.
Right here. I see it, right here.
You see that print? A lot of people don't know that that's an African print. And that's designed by intention. I want you to be able to take these pieces out in the world. Not everybody needs to go, hey, it's African, I'm screaming it's African. People love the print. They love the vibrant colors. And so what I am aiming to do is show people that African prints are versatile. They are modern. They fit into this world. We do have a place here. And that's why I intentionally pick these really fun prints that are African prints, but not everybody actually knows that. They just love the fact that it's this bright color. Nothing in our brand is bland. Everything here is vibrant because we want it to reflect your true personality and style.
Questions from the panel. Joe, you first.
Well, congratulations. You have some wonderful products here, and I'm asking a couple things. Is there any brick and mortar store availability, or is it all basically online? And then the other thing is, are there any plans, if you aren't already, you can correct me, to do anything that the fellas could get as well? It looked like that Africa necklace is something that the brothers could wear, but tell me about that. Are there things for guys, and is there a brick and mortar store availability?
No, Joe. It's called shopblackstarnetwork.com, Joe. That's the segment. So the idea, Joe, the idea is to go to shopblackstarnetwork.com to get the items. That's why it's called the shopblackstarnetwork.com marketplace, Joe.
I'm with you, but
Joe,
before she talks, this is what I'm doing. I was trying to do something for my mother here, but
Joe,
my mother doesn't go online and get stuff herself.
Well, Joe, you need to sit with your mama right next to you and say, Mama, we're gonna go to shopblackstarnetwork.com to look at Kendi Amani's stuff. Okay.
Yeah. And I will say this, that we do. We love this. We love this network. We love this opportunity. And yes, we are selling it here, direct to the consumer. But we do also focus on a B2B, because I know one thing Roland is really passionate about is seeing us scale our businesses. And so in order for me to truly scale, I do have to consider wholesale opportunities. And so, yes, sir, we are definitely expanding. We are definitely in a lot of retail stores across the country. So you may see Kendi Amani in different areas. But definitely for today, if you'd like to take home a piece, you can definitely find it on the link that is down below.
Yes, today.
That is what I will do.
So today, tomorrow.
We're gonna work it out.
So today, tomorrow, next week, you can look at Kendi Amani's pieces on shopblackstarnetwork.com. Mustafa.
Well, sister, congratulations. These are beautiful. You make me feel like I'm back in Mombasa and a couple of other places I used to spend time. You talked about sustainably sourced materials. Can you just quickly speak about why that's so incredibly important?
Oh, it's so important. I even want to touch on what you just talked about, Mombasa. So right here, I have a cowrie shell bracelet and a cowrie shell ring. These are from the coast of Kenya, Mombasa. And so actually it's a lot of effort for us to get these cowrie shells from there, to prepare them for our jewelry, and then to get the licensing required by the United States to actually import them here. But it's really important for us to do that and not use plastic. You see a lot of people making imitation cowrie shells and things like that. We're using cowrie shells that we're already finding in nature. And so that's one of the examples of the materials that we use. We use a lot of recycled brass as well to make these pieces. Then we sometimes, some pieces we might coat with gold. But in Africa, this is what you will see oftentimes is brass, and it's just an incredible material to work with because it lasts, it's quality, and it has this beautiful sheen to it, this beautiful gold tone that just looks so regal and elegant. We also consider our sustainability in our packaging. So when you get a package from us, most of the time it's going to be craft recycled packaging. And you may not know this, but in Kenya, we banned plastic bags a long time ago. And so one reason that we have these bags that we make is because we want to encourage people to stay away from plastic.
And let me tell you something, that is a...
Your shopping bag.
Yeah, that is actually, it's a huge deal. When I was last in Ghana in 2019, Renee, oh my God, why does it escape me right now? She actually, she has a whole design outfit where they take glass products and plastics and also old jeans and turn them into products. If y'all go to our YouTube channel, you'll actually see when I interviewed her. And so you're right, because she was telling me the damage that plastics has been making on Ghana. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so you'll see some beautiful pieces like these earrings here. These are our Kazuri earrings. Look kind of backwards here. And this, again, is made of the recycled brass bone. So in Africa, we use every part of the animal to honor that creature. So whether we're consuming it or using the bone to make jewelry. And then we also have a reclaimed wood. So this is another example of how we can use these sustainable materials to create these beautiful, beautiful pieces just for you.
Cool. Brian.
Well, congratulations. I guess my question, well, two questions. Where is this made? Where are your factories? And what's the scale of pricing for some of the stuff that you're wearing?
Great question. Thank you for asking that. So we do not have any factories. That's not how we operate in Africa. In Africa, we have women, real people, real moms, real sisters who handcraft these pieces. These women are what you would call here artisans. This is what they know. They're doing the techniques that have been passed down to them through the generations. And so this is the unique business model that I have. When I've gotten orders in the past from, say, Home Shopping Network, QVC, HSN, we have to make a lot of handmade pieces fast, right, in order to fulfill the demand. So we bring on more and more women to do the project for us. So we create we have beading circles that we can create where we teach the women how to make the product, and they go and they make it and they turn it into us, and they meet our specifications and our guidelines. These women are business owners too. And so this is how we're creating a large ecosystem of women business leaders, women artisans, all being supported by your purchase. And the second part of your question, I'll just go to that, is the price points. So as far as pricing goes, our items are very attainable, most of them around the $45 price point. And so again, very, very, very attainable, so that you can take something home with you today.
Yeah, well, of course, as usual, my dad is watching, and so he wants me to bring the African necklace home. I'm like, dude, come on now. Jesus. All right. So, all right, y'all. So do me a favor. I want y'all to go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. Check out what Kendi Amani has, y'all. Some amazing necklaces, earrings, safari bag, tote bag, beaded necklaces. So all kind of great stuff. And yeah, the prices are $39, $45, $65. 48, 149, 20, 65, 125, 65, 45, 45, 35. Very reasonable. And remember, when you buy products, Joe, from shopblackstarnetwork.com, you're also supporting. Yes, sir, I got you. You're also supporting the Black Star Network as well. And so that's why we do this. And so, Kendi, we certainly appreciate it. Great job. Phenomenal products. And good luck. And I hope our viewers absolutely buy all of your stuff up.
Thank you very much, Roland. We appreciate this opportunity.
All right. Thanks a bunch, folks. That is it for us. That's it for us. Let me thank Joe, Brian, and Mustafa for being on today's show. Certainly appreciate it, gentlemen. Thanks a bunch, folks. Listen, you know, it's so funny. You know, I had somebody who sat here and said, well, you know, why aren't you sitting here, you know, supporting a Black American business? You know what, Ray Sean, who made that stupid comment on the YouTube channel. So clearly you've never watched this show, because if you did, you would realize, here we cut to it, these are all the products on shopblackstarnetwork.com. We've got numerous products from African Americans, from people of African descent, folks from Africa, because we support Black people, fool. That's who we support. And so all y'all people love, some of y'all love just saying dumb stuff. And if you want to understand the connection, it's called the African diaspora. That's what it's called. And so it's about supporting our folks across the globe. For those of you simple Simons who have no understanding of history, do you understand that 6 of the 10 fastest growing economies right now in the world are African nations. Do you understand that the youngest continent in the world is the continent of Africa? Do you understand that over the next 50 to 75 years, the actual growth of the world population will be in Africa? And so what you also don't understand, Rayshawn, or whatever the hell your name is that there are tremendous opportunities for African Americans, Black Americans, whatever name you want to use, to connect with brothers and sisters in Africa. So maybe you should go do some history. Maybe you should go do some reading. Maybe you should go look up somebody called Reverend Leon Sullivan and the Sullivan Principles, where he sponsored an annual conference that brought together African American, Black American business entrepreneurs and folks on the motherland. I sat with the previous president of Ghana, who talked about the tremendous natural resources in the motherland and the smarts and the brilliance of many African Americans. He said, and how we need to connect. When I went to Ghana and did our 8 or 9 part series, if you go actually watch it, you will see there's a sister who actually has the largest wastewater management company in Ghana. You will understand what is happening with Black businesses going to Liberia and Senegal and what's happening in Nigeria. Maybe if you actually do some reading, you'll realize a recent deal that Viola Davis and her husband struck a deal with the South Africans who are financing many of her television and movie projects. See, when you are a simpleton and you just say silly stuff like that, you don't even understand the logic. Do you understand that white Americans do business in Europe? They have business interests in France, Germany, England, Italy, other countries. You have folks doing business in Indonesia, Japan, China, doing business in Dubai, numerous, Oman, many of those nations. So how silly it is to question a Kenyan American who now lives in Chicago. And why are you featuring her business? You're not featuring a Black American. We have, and we will. And we don't care if you don't like it. Folks, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Do that. We want you to do that for our support. What we are about, folks, is about speaking to the issues that go on. I made it perfectly clear. We don't waste time with trash because we are living in a moment where African Americans must be fed tremendous amounts of information. Y'all saw the movie Malcolm X. And what did Elijah Muhammad say? Elijah Muhammad said, at great scene, Al Freeman, talking to Denzel Washington. He says that our people are thirsty. And then he took a glass of water. He put some ink in it. He said, when you're thirsty, you'll drink anything, even if it's a glass of dirty water. But then he said, he showed a glass of clean water. He said, but if we give our people this, they'll drink this. And so that's what this show is all about. So I don't waste time with haters. I don't waste time with naysayers, with critics, because what we are about, how are we feeding our people information about what's going on, to give them a heads up about attacks that are happening on our communities, and how do we also reach a collective to be able to build a much more united force. You heard me numerous times talk about Dr. King, what he said on April 3rd, 1968 at Mason Temple. When he said that if we are going to move as a people, we must do so as a collective, not as individuals. And so that's what we do here. So when it comes to news and politics in our marketplace segment, that's what we do. That's what we will do. And we won't stop. As long as there's breath in my body, we're going to fight for our voting rights. We're going to fight for economic rights. We're going to fight for respect. We're going to fight to ensure that our children and our children's children have a future. Because as Paul Robeson said, our folks built this country. We are here, and we damn well are going to challenge this country to do right by our folks. I'm very clear as to where I stand on that. All right, folks, if you want to join our Bring the Fuck fan club, our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. That supports this show and all of our other shows as well. We want to build new shows on this network because we're not interested in the gossip, in all the reality shows and all that stuff. We need to be having strong, black-centered health shows, business shows, entrepreneurial shows, all of that. And that's what we're doing here at the Black Star Network. So if you want to contribute to us via Cash App, use a Stripe QR code. You see it right here. That's also for credit cards as well. If you're listening, go to blackstarnetwork.com for ways to give. Checks and money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered. P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal's R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo RM Unfiltered. Zelle Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung Smart TV. If you want to get our Roland Martin Unfiltered swag, that's our hats and T-shirts and zip-ups. Our shirt, Don't Blame Me, I voted for the black woman. MAGA chose between woke or broke. They chose broke. All the other shirts, Black-owned Media Matters. Also, our America 250 shirts. Go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. You see the QR code there as well. As I showed you earlier, all these products right here are in our studio. These are all black companies that are on our website, our marketplace, because we are about supporting these products. When you buy these products, folks, you got all sort of products. Simply go to shopblackstarnetwork.com, peruse the site. When you buy from our site, when you're supporting these black-owned companies, you're supporting us as well. And so you can do all of that. Don't forget, download the app Fanbase. Follow me at Roland S. Martin. And we're going to keep y'all kicking out our information, flooding the zone because of the amazing work that we do. Because, y'all, we stand for our people. Listen, the Harriet Tubman Museum in Cambridge, Maryland, they are ecstatic by us helping them raise $75,000 to repair their door, to repair what's going on right there. We stand up on this show. We fight every day for black people. I can't tell you what other people do. I can't tell you what they should be doing. I know what we do, and we know who we stand for, who we fight for, who we center, and we don't give a damn if other folk don't like it. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Black owned, black controlled, and also unapologetically black. Holla!